while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating.
Hey guys, just wanted to show you the babies. The Betta are now 8 days old, so just over a week. And they've definitely gotten bigger. Their caudal fins are starting to come in now. You'll see their big round bellies full of brine shrimp, which he just ate. And they're all looking good. We still don't know how many are in here because they are still very tiny and very excellent at hiding. Oh, getting it to focus on this guy is really hard. He's so little. We've got a bunch of them up here in the corner, hanging out eating baby brine shrimp. While we're at it, let's take a look at our baby guppies. They have gotten a lot bigger. So we still have all the parents here. Oh, here's one of the juveniles. You can see him swimming around the back. He has developed a bright blue spot on his side. We've called him Yato. He's so cute. Oh, the glare. We have one other one somewhere. Oh, here he is. That has developed a blue dorsal and blue on his tail, or on his peduncle. But everyone else is still pretty black. Hey, there's Hippo. He's still doing pretty good. We do have another fish that is going to be moving into his tank with him if she comes out at some point. We're calling her Lumpy. She has a tumor internally on one side that is pressing on her spine and bending it. And we're probably going to have to euthanize her before we get her out of this tank because of the quarantine. But if she survives long enough and doesn't look like she's in too much pain, we'll be putting her in the 1 gallon with Hippo, and they can just hang out. I think she's hanging out here under the duckweed and the frog bed. She's one of our sunset guppies. And unfortunately, she just doesn't look well. Hello, Fish Fam. It's time for another update. We did not update you guys last week because craziness was going on. I broke my foot. It really hurts. But I can get around a little bit now. It's just, we've been so busy and the babies have been too tiny to film, but I figured it's time to show you guys what's been going on because we've made some changes. First of all our Bettas are doing good. Juman's beautiful as ever. Ponyo. There you are, Ponyo. Ponyo still likes to greet whoever comes over to her tank. She likes people. She likes to stare at us. She's looking good as well. You can see her fins have turned very, very red. She's still that stupid muddy color, but I still love her. We're thinking about breeding Jumin and Ponyo next, at least trying it out. Just, you know, see what they'll do. We're getting to know them and give them some chances to try to be fish. I don't know how to say it. Zen, beautiful as always, has completely healed up from breeding with Rika, and I don't know if you can tell, it's hard to see through this tank because this plastic is not exactly see-through. He's starting to get red in his fins. His butterfly pattern is turning red in the cellophane bits. It's interesting. Nanami has grown back about half of her dorsal, so she's doing good. We have moved Rika and Seiron up onto these boxes because my cats are obsessed with drinking out of their containers. Rika's fins have healed and she is almost all healed from all the nips she had from Zen and Seiron, so she's doing good. Seiron got a tunnel today and it is his new favorite spot. He seems to be the laziest of our fish and he has trouble getting around because he is a Dumbo Rosetail. So he is really enjoying that little tunnel. Our snails, I don't know if I can move my light to shine over here a little bit. Not really. Our snails are getting huge. Do you guys remember when we got these? These were all babies and they were tiny. And now, especially the ivories, are just massive. So we're really excited. They have been eating some spinach and some Snella lately, but they're doing good. This tank is still empty. That tank is still empty. We are 1 week away for our levamisole treatment for all of the guppies. Next Saturday we dose. Right now we've got them separated, so all the adults are over here, except for we have the 3 male juveniles on this side to keep them from breeding. And on this side of our breeder box, which you can't see very well, we have Hippo, who doesn't swim very well, Lumpy, because we don't want her to breed either anymore, and the female juvenile that matches these 3 males that we call Dottie. So they're separated for now. They're sharing the same water, but we're trying to keep them from breeding because we're not sure who we're going to add into our gene pool yet. We think Yato because he's turning really pretty. And we went ahead and separated all the baby guppies out. And they are now in their own tank. As you can see, there are more than 100 baby guppies in here. It's crazy. The water is yellow because we have put some Indian almond leaves in here. They're getting quite large. They could probably eat our baby Bettas if we put them together because they're still super tiny. But they're doing good. They've got their own heater. They get fed 3 times a day. Their water is clean. And they are just enjoying life. In the next tank over, let me switch my light over here a little bit. We have our Daphnia culture, which finally came in. We ended up having to buy a second Daphnia culture because our first Daphnia culture was almost entirely dead. It got lost in the mail for 2 weeks. So we went ahead and got another one, and it is doing super well. We have Daphnia everywhere. They also have some tannins in here, which is why their water is yellow. We're letting them get some insiphoria because they eat single-cell organisms. And we feed them with yeast and spirulina, but you can see there's just a million of them in here. So they're doing really, really good. And once we have a little bit more, we will start feeding them to the bettas. We have a brine shrimp hatchery going down here. So here are our baby bettas. They will be 2 weeks old tomorrow, and as you can see, they've gotten a lot bigger. They've gone from sitting at the top all of the time to wanting to hang down here by the leaves and hide and hunt their brine shrimp and microworms. But they're doing very, very, very well. They're doing pretty well. They have developed their caudal fins now, and they're starting to develop their dorsal and pectoral fins. We have only lost one. We counted somewhere between 20 and 23 of these guys last count. It's really hard to count them because they're tiny and they're always hiding and always moving. But last week we lost one baby guppy. We think the parents tried to eat it, which is why we have them separated now. And we lost one baby betta. Which, you know, there's always going to be losses. We don't know why it died, but there's always going to be losses, and we've only lost one so far, so we feel like we're doing pretty good. These guys are super healthy. There's 2 back there on the heater. We just did a water change this weekend. It gets super filthy in here because of all the crud they eat and the snails, but we're just kind of letting it be that way. They seem to enjoy picking off the insophoria that feed on the moam and the decaying leaves. And when it gets too bad, we clean it up. But they seem to be doing really good. Their water parameters are good. There's one right there by the heater, swimming around. There's usually a couple that like to hang by the heater, and then all the rest like to hide under these leaves. There's one way back there in the back, right along the seam of the tank. I don't know if you guys can see him. I can see his little eyeball moving. Oh, and there's another one under the leaf. There's usually one up here. Yep, there he is, under the leaf. And there's a couple that hang out on top. They've grown a lot. When they were first born, you could barely see them with the naked eye. And now I would say, see, what can I compare them to? They're really tiny still. Like really tiny. But they're definitely bigger. I'd say they're probably about Tic Tac size. I guess that's a good analogy. Tic Tac plus a tail is about their size. There's one in the back, right there next to the corner seam. They're doing good. Oh, there's one swimming around. I fed them earlier, so now they're not racing around trying to eat everything. They're just kind of lazily floating along. I can't wait to see what these guys end up looking like. But for now, we will keep them in this tank. And either when they get a little bit bigger, or we decide we are ready to breed our next pair of bettas, we will move them to this other grow out that we have empty right now. The snails officially, as of yesterday, have been 3 weeks in quarantine. So they should be out of quarantine. We're going to keep them a little bit longer because we are doing our levamisole treatment for the guppies next Saturday. After that is done, everything should be fine. I don't think the guppies are still infected with Camelonus worms. We haven't seen any. They've stopped scratching themselves. They're all acting fine. But, you know, as a precaution, we're going to do our second treatment like we're supposed to. We'll be probably treating the babies separately from the adults just because we want to keep the adults from eating them. So we will go ahead and treat this tank and and that tank over there. And when their treatment is up in 3 days and 2 nights, we will do complete water changes and we will be done. Amazingly, we have lost 0 guppies to the worms. We lost that one baby, but I'm pretty sure it was because the adults tried to munch on it. That's literally the only fish we've lost in the last 2 weeks since I updated you guys. Just the 2 babies. Everybody else is doing great. Nobody's sick. Fins are healing. Colors are changing. We are doing really, 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 really good. So it's been a little while since I've updated you guys on any of our live cultures. There's a reason for that. We had a major fail and it was all my fault. I stuck a bunch of carrots in our darkling beetle culture and didn't check on them for 2 days. And it got really hot and humid in this room and my entire beetle culture died. Every single last one. It was all molded over, it was damp, and we lost all of our darkling beetles. I'm a murderer. But luckily, our mealworms had already had babies. So we have a container full of baby mealworms. Let me see if I can dig around in here a little bit. So they are in here. They're very, very tiny. But they do exist. So hopefully these guys will grow and we will get our beetles back. We were extremely lucky. I feel so stupid because I let them get humid and killed my entire culture. Don't do that, guys. Just don't. Our rice flower beetle culture is doing incredibly well. We have actually split it into 3 because there are so many beetles. Like, do you guys remember when we got this and there was like 8 live beetles? Dude, it's crazy. If you look really close, you can see all of the pupa. There's just dozens upon dozens, probably hundreds in here. Both pupa and beetles. So we've split them into 3 containers. And we can now feed off of these now. And the Bettas love them. I usually don't feed them the worms because I can't find them. But I go ahead and I feed them the pupas. And they like them. They like them a lot. I haven't tried the beetles. I've been told that they are very bitter. And most things won't eat the beetles of this particular species. Oh my god, look at that. Does it make your skin crawl? I think they're adorable. I would not put my hand in there though because they climb so well. Like, I would never get them off. But yeah, they're doing ridiculously well. As are all of our cultures downstairs. We still have 3 fruit fly cultures going, which is the staple of our diet. The Bettas love them. The guppies love them. Just everything loves them. We have the grindle worms, which is also another staple and a favorite. We have springtails, which I haven't used that much because the springtails are very, very tiny. They probably do better as a juvenile food for the baby guppies and bettas, which I may try, because they're too small for the adult fish. Not that that will keep them from eating them, but they're so tiny. We have used our vinegar eels and our micro worms for the baby bettas and baby guppies. I'm trying to think, what else do we have? think that's it. I think so. We've also learned that I suck at keeping brine shrimp alive. We've been culturing them, and that has worked really well. Our cultures work fantastic. But keeping them alive past 24 to 48 hours is extremely difficult. Even doing everything right. Tips I've gotten off YouTube from various people who culture them, I just can't keep them alive. Which is why we are now using their tank as a baby guppy tank instead of using it as a brine shrimp grow out. I think I have given up on raising brine shrimp. I'll hatch them, but I don't think I can keep them to adults. So that is it, you guys. That is our update for this week. It's been crazy, but everybody is doing really well. I swear our tanks are multiplying. We are having so much fun with the fry. It's just unbelievable how fast they grow. And we're super excited to see how the baby guppies and the baby bettas turn out. We should have more baby guppies the first or second week of the month. So in another 2 weeks or so. And we will let you know how that goes. Our females are getting gigantic. They're absolutely huge, and 4 of them are still pregnant. I don't know what's up with them. They're holding. These juveniles are gorgeous. Yato is our favorite. He's this one that's moving around at the front. He has very dark panda guppy markings, and he has these bright blue spots right behind his pectorals. He's just absolutely a gorgeous fish. So we may put him into our breeding pool because I'm interested to see if he would pass those on. The other 2 males have royal blue on them, and it looks like one of them is starting to get snakeskin markings like our other adult males. Like these guys. But I don't know. We'll see in another week or 2 how they end up turning out. We will see you guys at the next update.